Welcome to the Dream Girl Trucking Channel. Today I want to talk to you about the Russian Mafia. Dream Girl Trucking is not just for girls, it's for anybody who has a dream. Boy, girl, man, woman, whatever. And it's important that you guys live your dreams, work on your dreams, have hope, have a goal. That's what we all have to do. So, that being said, I'm going to get on with my video. The Russian Mafia in trucking is not actual Russians. It's people from basically what used to be, years ago, the USSR. And it's a lot of those countries that end with the word Stan. And they all sound like they're from Russia. They all have like basically the same accent. Maybe it just sounds the same to us, but they're all from those countries up there, and they come here for the American dream, and they land mostly in Chicago and around Chicago. And most of us, I think, know what I'm talking about. They do lease purchase and they rip off the drivers. That's their two things. They do lease purchase and they rip off the drivers. And the king of all of them is well, I'm not going to say the name. I don't want to get in any trouble, but it's a super trucking company with blue and white trucks. So, and by rip off the drivers, what I mean is, well, their drivers are suing them for skimming off the top. So they say they pay their lease purchase drivers 85% of what the load pays, but that's not actually what they pay. And so they're being sued for skimming off the top. But the contracts that they make the drivers sign don't actually say what the load pays. They actually say what the company pays to the truck. So they're legally allowed to do that. They're not in breach of contract. No one expects the driver's lawsuit to succeed. So, one way that you can know if your Chicago company is really affiliated with this big one, this like the big spider and all the little ones come off of it, is if you have a fuel card that says Jordan Holdings on it. That is one of the ways. So, that being said, they do take off of the top. You will not get everything that you think you're going to be getting when you go there. You know, you have to pay for your tolls, your scales, your reefer fuel, if you're pulling a reefer, of course your diesel, all the liquids that go into your truck, oil, windshield washer fluid, anything. The company doesn't pay for anything, and they charge you to rent your trailer, and of course they charge you for your ELD. Now, when I was up there, I was charged for my ELD. I wish I could remember. It was something like, gosh, $50 a week. And someone said, wow, they have a little trucking company and that pays for all their ELDs for the whole month, you know. So, yeah, they make a lot of money. By skimming off the top, they have no expenses except for their insurance. And the driver, of course, has the cargo insurance and the bobtail insurance and stuff like that. And also they take the driver's IFTA out too. And so there's that. The driver pays for all the preventive maintenance, all the repairs, all the tires. So basically these companies, the only overhead they have is their dispatchers and their offices and their phones. And that's pretty much it. Because you know they're charging way too much for these trucks too. So they don't have truck payments like normal owner-operators do. You know, because they're doing the lease purchase. Personally, I like lease purchase. I am not against lease purchase, but it should not be so predatory against the driver. If I was to buy a truck, I would probably put it on a lease purchase, because it's smart. It's just a great way to pay the driver and keep my expenses down. But I would not scalp the driver while the driver is paying for the truck. sure, I'd make some money. I mean, everybody's got to eat. And, you know, so it's only fair. But these guys, you know, I always see on the Facebook groups and also on YouTube in the videos and the comments, you know, everybody's always complaining. Stop taking all these loads that don't pay. Who's taking these loads that don't pay? Well, I'll tell you who it is. It's these people like this. Not just what they call the Russian Mafia. That's just a nickname. But it's not just the Russian Mafia. It's all of these predatory lease purchase owners who are doing this. It doesn't matter if the load that their driver hauls pays 90 cents a mile. It doesn't matter. They're going to skim off the top, and they're not going to have any fuel or insurance or maintenance. They're just going to get their part, and then they're going to get the extra that comes on top of the truck payment and the insurance, whatever that is. You know, they're padding every single one of those things. I don't know that for sure, but logically we can assume that they're padding everything. I know that where I worked, they padded the ELD. And, you know, you can tell that they pad the truck payments. It's like a tote the note place. You know, you sell the truck, and then the next driver that comes along, you sell the truck for the same price. Just start all over again. So you never go broke. I mean, I was told that my truck was paid for, but it didn't matter. So there I had whatever my truck payments were for every month. That was just money in my boss's pocket. And although that's fair, you know, but I'm saying that that's a good business, a good way to do business if you're on the owner's end, is to resell the truck over and over and over again. But like I said, it shouldn't be predatory. You shouldn't be scalping your drivers. Now, you know, one of the reasons I quit was not just because I kept getting negative paychecks, but also because from the very beginning, I was told by my very nice boss, who I actually like, and they like me, I was told, hey, we're just in survival mode. The haul rates are down, and everybody's just hanging on. We're all just hanging on right now. We're all just hanging on. And they would tell me that often when I would try to tell them that I didn't want to load because it didn't pay enough. Oh, we're just in survival mode. We've all just got to take. I've just got to get you moving and blah, blah, blah. Now, this was a dispatcher, but she had been with him for many, many, many years. So, you know, she's basically on his team, you know. But, so we got these new ELDs because ELD 1, as y'all will remember, was the FMCSA made those people go away. So we got those new ones. And I was logging in, and it said, who's your co-driver? And I pushed the wrong button. And when I did, a whole list of my boss's trucks that he owned in his fleet came up. The full name of the driver, the truck number, and the make and model of the truck. And that's when I saw that not all of us were just in survival mode. Some of us were buying brand spanking new trucks. 2 of them, actually. Yes, this is 2023 when I'm making this video, and it's May. So that was like in March. He had already bought 2 brand new trucks that year. Doesn't sound like survival mode to me. Sounds like he's still making a profit. And that's why I say it didn't matter if I didn't make any money for the week. He still made all of his money, and if he couldn't get it from me that week, well, I would just owe him for the next week so he could get it out the next week, plus what I owed him for the following week. So he was never, you know, he wasn't like me. He never lost during a week. Sure, his percentages were lower. They were. But, you know, what did he have? Like, I think he had 15 trucks. And I just hesitate to do the math. He did not. And I don't think that the main company that I was talking about in the Russian Mafia, I don't think that they do this either. They don't pass their fuel discounts along to their drivers. And my boss actually had the nerve to show on each one of my statements how much money I had put in his pocket between what I paid at pump price and what he paid at fleet price per gallon. And because he's, like I said, he's a super nice guy. I really like him because the culture where he comes from is so different than our culture over here. He didn't think anything of it. So, you know, he didn't think it was anything to hide. He's honest, you know, he considers himself a good person, and I do too. I can really respect the fact that he had his own standards of what was ethical, and he stuck to them. You know, he believed in himself, and I respect that. But by the same token, I asked him right before I left, I said, do you have any trucks with APUs? Because I didn't think he did. I was having to idle my truck all the time. And I saw one day that had a fan on the back of it. I know that's an APU. And he said, yes, I have one, but the APU doesn't work on it, and I'm not going to get it fixed. He said, he went on to elaborate. He said, I don't get APUs on my trucks because they don't do me any good. They don't do anything for me. They just help the driver. And when the driver buys less fuel, I make less money. Yeah. He said that to me. He was not ashamed. He was very honest. So, you know, I do, like I said, I do appreciate that and respect that. But between that, you know, that he doesn't care about his drivers. He's not trying to save his drivers any money. You know, APU or no APU, you know, he's going to sell these trucks for the price that he wants. And, you know, if he bought a truck for, even if he bought a truck for $200,000, I don't know what trucks cost, but let's say he bought a truck for $200,000 and it had a refrigerator and an APU in it, and it was new, you know, he could still sell it for $250,000. Nobody's going to complain when they go to work for these lease purchases. They all know, we all know, we're going to be paying more than what the actual owner of the truck is paid for it. That's just the way that it is. So for him to not do any of that stuff for his drivers, it's really inexcusable. But you know, that's the difference. So now I'm over here at Bay and Bay, and they're not doing lease purchase out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area where I reside. Well, I don't actually reside there, but like close enough to there. I'm a country girl, live out in the country. So I'm doing a company, which, okay, they give me some insurance, let me catch up on my taxes or whatever, because I don't ever intend to pay off a truck anyway. I'm going to be 60 in December, and I don't feel like spending time on a lease purchase at my age. If I was younger, yeah, probably would. But, you know, I like the lease purchase because another thing is that I try to go on vacation a lot, and I don't like really having to stay out for X number of days so I can earn one, or X number of weeks so I can earn a day off. You know, I don't like that. I like to be able to go when I want to go. You know, save up money to cover my expenses on my lease purchase, and then, you know, pay up my bills in advance, and then I'm gone for vacation. So I'm a company driver now, and they do have the lease purchase over here, but they didn't have it for where I live. So that's why I didn't do that. But I do like the lease purchase. What I was going to say was I was in orientation, and the guy sitting next to me who was doing a lease purchase, he worked for TQL, and he was a broker for them before he became a truck driver. And he told me, because I said something about, you know, in class I said something about I used to work for the Russian Mafia, and one of those Russian Mafia companies or something like that. And he looked at me and he said, you know, it's funny that you should say that, because at TQL we actually had a sign on the wall that said, do not give loads to the Russian Mafia, and it had a list of the companies that TQL considers being in the Russian Mafia. So apparently, you know, they're not very, they don't deal very squarely with the brokers either. We think of brokers as being predatory, but you know, some people fight back, and I guess when you come from a country where, you know, fighting back is a way of life, you know, or you're trying to rip people off, I don't know. I'm just saying, you can say what you want to say, and, you know, think what you want to think, and this is all just my opinion, And, you know, I'm not trying to specifically make anybody look bad. There's a lot of drivers who do work for the Russian Mafia, and you know, I guess some of them pay off their trucks. I don't know. I don't know. I just know that right now they're not happy because they don't, you know, they don't make the money that they think they're supposed to be making. It's hard enough on us out here. And you know, that's another thing. I thought, you know, my boss, instead of buying new trucks, and he doesn't care if we leave, if we quit like I quit, it doesn't matter. There's somebody else that's going to get up into that truck, just like I did. There's somebody else who's just looking for a lease purchase, and you know, they think that they don't realize that they're going to have negative paychecks and over and over and over again. Because I just had 3 of them. One was $1,000, one was $650, and the other one was $250. And that was just, it just started happening the last 2 months that I was there. So I took everything for the last 8 weeks and added it up and divided it by 8, and found out that I was living off of $200 a week. And I said, oh my God, I gotta get out of here. So, but I thought that instead of starving his drivers out, which does benefit him, as I said, because he just starts selling that truck over again, that he could have, you know, gave us our fuel discount. You know, he didn't. He made money off of us in so many other ways that he really could have helped us out in that way. And but that's not the way that they view the people who work for them. You know, that's not the way they value the people who work for them in their culture. So he didn't. But that's my that's what I have to say about the Russian Mafia. Again, they're not the Mafia. They're not Russian. That's just a nickname. And I guess that's all. I hope I don't get in trouble for this video. At least they can't demonetize me because I don't make any money off of them. So everybody, have a great day, and work on your dreams and your goals, and do be politically active when it comes to trucking, because there's so much going on and so much griping. And I just have to wonder about all these drivers who are doing all these protests and whatever else. And I ask myself, really, how many of these drivers do you think have contacted their congressional representatives? How many? How many do you think have responded to the FMCSA's calls for comments when they have these things up for discussion? Probably hardly any of them, if any of them. But we're truck drivers, so we can darn sure gripe about it. That's just the way that we are. We gripe about stuff, and we know it all, and we love to give advice. So if you ever want advice, any kind of advice on anything in the world, ask a trucker. Until then, next time I mean. Until next time, bye, and be good, be nice, love each other, tell your friend I love you. You know, don't hang up the phone until you say I love you. Bye. So everybody out there, I love you. Bye.